Hey, thank you so much for the introduction. Like you said, my name is Chinazo Okereke. I'm currently working as a career and postgrad specialist for the Black students at McMaster University. Prior to that, I have also done some career development jobs initiatives with not-for-profit organizations and volunteering to support Black youth in terms of their careers and professional development. I find that in my work, you really need that support. And some of the things that we have done beyond just their academic performance is also building that confidence, helping them to build the confidence that they need to thrive in the workplace, helping them to discover themselves, who they truly are, and helping them to find spaces where they can actually express themselves, their authentic self, and be able to give back to the community that has raised them. Thank you for having me.
So, with your experience in career development and recruitment, what skills do young people need most today to move from education into meaningful employment and build long-term economic security?
Okay, from my experience, and I will speak as a professional who has worked with most Black youth in the last 10 years. My interactions with them, I have found out that there's a lot of focus on the academic knowledge. And I find that a lot of our youth, especially Black youth, do not focus on all the other soft skills or what we'll call the smart skills that will help them integrate into the workforce. And so in my conversations with my students, one of the things that I always emphasize is building the communication skills. That is something that is underrated because a lot of times the youth always believe, most of them would believe that once they have the technical skill to perform in any role, then they're good to go. But they forget that in the process of performing their duties in that role, they need to communicate, they need to work with other stakeholders, and they need to know how to communicate their ideas, their concerns, and then whatever information that they need to help that project or that particular task to move forward. So I always emphasize on them looking for ways to build their verbal and communication skills as far as the professional space is concerned. Another thing that I always emphasize for them is the willingness to learn and to keep learning. The grades are excellent. It's good to have, excellent grades as you graduate from university and be the best at whatever, get the honor, be on the honor roll. But if you're not open to learning, then you're going to be stuck. And so one of the things that I emphasize with my students is you've got to be open to learning. You don't know what you don't know, right? And so when you find yourself in spaces where you have access to this information, open your mouth and drink from that fountain as much as you can. Another thing too, I also emphasize is they need to understand their strengths and the areas that they need improvement. So knowing themselves and knowing how to navigate those spaces so that they're able to leverage on their strengths and then work on their weaknesses.
Thanks, that was excellent. Excellent information, excellent advice. Like, it's not just about excellent grades, it's the soft skills, right? It's the open to learning, it's the, wanting to be part of community as a whole. So that's really great. Many young people are told that they need experience to get a job, but they need a job to gain experience. How can employers, educational institutions, and community organizations work together to break this cycle and create more meaningful pathways into the workforce?
Now, this is a hill that I'm willing to die on because the question I always ask is, what is work experience? Like we need to redefine that word because there seems to be a lot of focus on paid employment as the only recognized experience. But these young people, they have gained experience through various channels. Some of them are already running their personal businesses. I have a lot of students who run amazing businesses, and that's actually how they pay their tuition. Some of them have volunteered since they were in high school. Some have worked on projects either through the program of study. Some have had the opportunity to job shadow a professional in the field that they're interested in. And all of these count as valid experience. And so when employers are intentional about recognizing these experiences, then it becomes easier to take a chance on a fresh graduate, on a young adult, especially if the candidate has the right attitude. So I think employers should just like we've heard over and over, just get over yourself and change the narrative, change your perspective of how these things should happen. Even educational institutions can support, incorporating real life work experience into the program, the courses that they teach. For example, we have events where we call them day in a life events for high school students, where they just come to have an idea of what campus is like, one day experience. Educational institutions can incorporate those into the program of study and say, you know what, part of your grading will come from you having a day in a life experience with an employer of your choice or an employer that's already partnering with us. And then you're graded or you are rated based on your performance for that one day, 2 days. And we add that to whatever your grades are, and that's how you're going to pass this course. So once that is done, students can also take this as part of their work experience, even communities, right? Like their professional bodies. We have religious organizations. The focus shouldn't only just be on professional bodies, maybe just taking the fees and building the organization, but also creating career events, career focused events for these young people to attend so that they can start building the skills that will help them thrive in the work environment.
Thanks, Chinazo. That was really great. So yes, it's a key. They need experience. They need it. The job gives them experience, but then the job requires them to get experience, to get the job. So like you said, they already have successful businesses. How do they communicate that success in a job interview? That's the thing. How do they tell that story so that it becomes a skill, you know, that the entrepreneur, the employer just sees and say, oh my goodness, okay, that could work for me. I guess maybe also tweaking interview questions to help them bring that out as well. All right, great. So thanks for that. Many young people have talent and ambition, but lack confidence, mentorship, networks, or knowledge about how to navigate the workplace. What advice would you give a young person who wants to improve their economic future, but does not know where to begin?
Okay, so from my personal career growth experience and speaking from as someone who had worked originally, started my career in Nigeria and then transitioned into Canada, some of the advice that I would share based on my experience will be you don't need to have your career all figured out, right? You start from somewhere and then gradually you'll get to know and discover more about yourself, so your strengths, your weaknesses, your interests, your preferred lifestyle. It took me, even though I had a postgraduate certificate in human resources, it took me working as a human resource coordinator to realize I don't want to do this because it's more back office and I'm not a back office person. And so I had to find my place, but it took me having that experience to realize this is not where I should be. Secondly, find people that can help you. It could either be through mentorship or peer support. And so find somebody who is a mentor who's willing to help you amplify your voice, help you find your strengths, and then, just do that hand holding. And also peer support. There are some of your peers who are already doing well in that area. And no, you should be humble enough to say, you know what, I need to learn from you. What are you doing to get this done? And be flexible. Career paths are no longer linear. Like we've gone past those days where, oh, I studied law in the university, and so I have to start off as a lawyer. There are different paths that you can actually start off as an admin assistant and then end up being a lawyer, even though you have that degree. So being flexible and adaptable to say, okay, this is my goal. This is what I have available right now because I need to start off. Can start from here and then build. Because when you don't do that, then you're losing years that you could have used to gain work experience. And before you know what's happening, you have 3, 4 years, 5 years under your belt and you have nothing to show for it, right? And so being flexible, being adaptable, and understanding that I don't have to start off in this position in order for me to get to this particular position, that I can start off something that is different and I still end up meeting my goal, my career goal.
Thanks, Chinazo. That was great. That was great. Adaptability, flexibility, and I'll just add resilience. It's really great. You need all that. Thank you.